and it's
money well spent.
It's going to be an expensive endeavor, but I think that the citizens, one of the things that we get a lot of complaints about is the amount of time that people are on hold with the non-emergency number.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And most of our calls are non-emergency. You know, I think people for the whole year, when I tell you that we have 27,350 calls, I mean 27,589, 27,350 are non-emergency calls. There's only 239
what do they call for?
The emergency calls can be anything that, you know,
I know emergency, but what about these non-emergency?
It can be anything from, you know, I have a dispute with my neighbor, to I have a domestic violence situation that my husband left, my wife left, to my shed got broken into. So routine, non-life-threatening calls are the majority, overwhelming, like 99% of the calls are non-priority. So if we have our own dedicated number, people will be able to get through. And the problem is you've got one dispatch center for the entire county where hundreds of thousands of people are bottlenecked into that one center. And when you reduce that to your, Bowie having its own, then you're reducing it to 50, 60,000 people going to one center, as opposed to, having to compete with all around the county. And the county's huge, and we need to remember that.
So 911 now would go through the county first.
The 911 would always, by legislation, the 911 would stay with the county, but there's technology that would let them just switch it over to us.
Over to you.
Okay, so you could answer the emergency calls. So the number that's in the newsletter from the city then is the non-emergency number.
That is still through the county. Nothing has changed. That is always a point of confusion for folks. We are still being dispatched through the county until we're not. I mean, that's just, until we're not, that's who's doing that for us. And we do have to compete with the other folks in the county for the dispatch center. But we're hoping, in the near future to have that service for Bowie residents here as well. I know in Greenbelt, Hyattsville, and some of the other smaller, Laurel, they have their own.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yes, they have their own. They dispatch their own.
So somebody in Greenbelt dials 911, they get Greenbelt?
No, everybody goes, 911 is always through the county.
Okay, the non-emergency number.
They all have their own non-emergency numbers.
Okay.
So we will be like Laurel and Greenbelt and Hyattsville and Rockville City, things like that. So places like that, Gaithersburg.
Well, that's going to be a great improvement.
I think so. I think it will.
Sure will.
It's going to be a lot of work. John Neske will be balder than he is today by the time we're finished.
That'll be quite a trick.
Yes.
Wow, should have wore a hat today.
John, what about the Neighborhood Watch update? How's that happening now?
We're growing, weekly. We just had a call, Officer Henderson just had a call last week to get another one started.
Really?
So the word continues to spread, and it's not always just through Neighborhood Watch contacts. It's through any class that we happen to teach, or we talk about it, and we're constantly getting phone calls about
the Neighborhood Watch concept is good. I like it. I've seen it work.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that I would love for people to know is that Officer Henderson, our community service officer, and Deputy Chief Neske have done an incredible job with RAD classes. They're rape, aggression, defense classes.
Oh, yeah, really?
And women get to come. This is a women-only class, so you gentlemen can't come. But it's a great class. I get nothing. I mean, people stop me in the grocery store to say, we think Officer Henderson and Deputy Chief Neske are just wonderful, and
Well,
they let us be there.
How do people get a hold of you to participate in it?
Well, right now we are making we just finished a class. It's a 4-week class.
Okay.
And
one night a week?
1 night a week for 3 hours.
Okay.
And we finish up with what's called a simulation. It's where Benny and I get into a padded suit, and we actually attack the students. And the students use all the techniques and pound on Benny and I.
Oh.
That'd be fun.
It's an amazing experience for everybody, because you get to see the ladies come in from day one, where their confidence might not be so high, to week 4, and they're walking out ready to just tear the world up.
Oh, that's great.
And
I like that.
we're currently building a waiting list for the next round of classes. I'm not quite sure when the class is going to be yet, but we go to the wait list and we give these people first crack.
Sure.
And then we put it on the website, and we put it out through
How
the
many in a class,
people.
roughly?
We try to keep it under 20, just because it's hard to get through all the material, and it's real hard to get through all the simulations, because there's 3 different simulations we like to do, and it kind of rushes things, and it's better to have under 20.
You give them a certificate?
Yeah, they get a little certificate and everything.
You put that right there next to the husband's shower.
Tell you, it's you know, we tell them not to practice on their husbands because they'll actually hurt their husbands.
Yeah. How do you publicize this?
It's been in the both the local papers. It gets on the website. We put it through people who are already taking the class. We said we got another one coming up. Tell your friends,
Neighborhood
whatever.
Watch.
Okay.
In fact, probably next month we're going to do a refresher course for anybody who's taken the class already. They just want to come in for one night and we'll review everything. It's a I guess we were certified in the instruction a year ago,
Right.
and we've put about 100 people through it already.
Oh, wonderful.
At least
That's
100
fantastic. Started for men.
It's a whole different certification because these techniques are built towards a woman's strength. A woman's strength centers on the hips versus the upper body for a man. So all these techniques are hip driven. So there's different techniques for men, but if
Where
we
was
ever
it?
get everything taken care of, we'll move on to that.
Sure. You don't know where to be held, but where was the last series held?
We hold them here at City Hall.
City Hall.
And anyone who has a young lady that's going to college and going to be away from home, and this class goes for women, you know, from 13 on up, and we've had all age groups.
That's a great idea, getting
Yeah,
going away.
But that's a real good thing. You know, college campuses can be a scary place, and you know, so people listening can you know, send their daughters, granddaughters to the class. I think it's a great endeavor. I get nothing but great feedback from it. So. Outside of Ben Gay that we give John, he gets
Not as limber as I
gets
used to be. So.
kudos for the you know, all the hard work that he's put into that,
Yeah,
because
that's great.
that's his baby, and he and Benny Henderson just do a great job with that program, and what an asset to have for the citizens in Bowie.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
We've had them from, again, 14 to, we had a lady that was 74.
74.
74. And the beauty about the program is it gives you options for your tool belt.
Yeah.
And you know what? If my knee doesn't go quite as, or my arms, you know, arm doesn't go quite as far as it used to, you know, I got my legs. You know, I can always get my knee or my foot up high enough to damage someone's groin or take someone's knee out or whatever. So it's a good program.
Sounds good. And I've heard about it and read about it, and now we've
Yeah, that's,
also.
I'm
think
really pleased.
That should
with
create a
that.
lot of enthusiasm among the community, I think.
Very much
And
so.
it ties in with the neighborhood watch real well.
Yes.
Those people
In our
that-
business watch.
We're wrapping up, John.
We are wrapping up.
Those people that are attending that class now will be a neighborhood watch prospect.
Oh, there's a lot of bleed over into the two, and we teach them to increase their awareness. That's the biggest component, is increasing your awareness. Because if you're aware and you carry yourself a certain way, you're not going to need all the rest of the techniques, because people are looking for targets that aren't paying attention and aren't ready for them.
Sure.
Well, as usual, you supplied us with a plethora of information. I would like to personally say I think you guys are doing a very good job. And coming from me, that's very unusual, because there's this mistaken impression that Bert contributes to. I'm some sort of curmudgeon. But thanks again for coming in.
I worked hard, John. You're doing
Yeah, well,
better.
you
You're doing better.
I'm doing better.
I just got to go look up both those words up.
And thank you to our viewers. We were going to have Congresswoman Donna Edwards on the show. She was supposed to be on here Friday, but she is tied up in Congress, as everybody probably knows, battling away for the health bills, but she will be on shortly thereafter. So we look forward to seeing you again next week. And good night or good afternoon, as the case may be. And thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.